Hello, everyone. Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing? I'm doing pretty good myself. Life is going pretty well. I'm having a pretty good time. Today we're actually going to play Nioh, which is pretty cool. We're actually going to get to playing this game we've wanted to do for so long. Yeah. So hold on. I'm getting everything sorted today. We're going to start off with a brand new save file. Literally brand new. It's going to be an entirely new save file. It does have all the DLC and everything in it, so just check that out. We will be doing all that. We'll be doing all the DLCs and everything, basically going to the very end of the game. Unlike Nioh 2, with our super canonical series here, we don't actually need to cut halfway through the game. This game is basically one just long, consistent timeline between the first and the second game. So, here are the credits. Thank you to all these amazing people. I think we shall... Whoop. I think we shall begin today with Nioh 2's, well, technically original Nioh. Right here. This is it. This is the original Nioh. As you can see, the game has much of a grittier sort of look to it. It's a lot grittier looking, and it's a lot darker, you'll see. You'll see what I mean as we get into it. Nioh 2 has a lot more brightness to it, and a lot more color. Alright, let's get into this now, shall we? Yes. There, everything's... While Hideyoshi sleeps, there is a land far, far away. Far away. Rita.
I'm Rita. Some call it a miraculous stone.
It's first.
A philosopher's stone. The Queen of England remains locked in combat. With Spain, the country where the sun never sets, for control of the entire world.
Indeed.
Our forces weakening with every battle. The Queen and her inner circle turn to divination and alchemy, hiring pirates like us, finding Rita for them. With that power, they managed to defeat the invincible Spanish Armada. But now it seems they want to keep their methods a secret.
Indeed. Rita. It's used in the Western world as a form of power. The Tower of London. It's an imposing fortress built by King William I in order to keep London safe. The prison for traitors, exiles. Yep. Welcome to Nioh. Let's do this. Upon one dark and stormy night, a man without death awakens in his cell once again, previously beaten to death by the guards. He opens his eyes once again.
It seems death won't stop chasing me.
If you don't know, I think she's actually speaking Gaelic. Our friend there. Here we go. This way. Isn't she lovely? She shall be our friend. So it's a lot like the original Nioh. Ignore the underwear. Yep. It's a lot like the original Nioh. What you would think of. And basically our job right now is to beat this guy to death with our hands. He is the weakest enemy in the game. There's no enemy weaker than him. But as you can see, there's a couple things here that are a little bit different. I mean, you could probably tell that by now. Whoop. First of all, backstabs, dude. More damage still. But we don't have any yokai powers. None at all, actually. We don't have any yokai powers, and we don't have any abilities. And also, like I said, this game is a lot grittier. I actually prefer this game's menus over the original. This game is a lot grittier looking than Nioh 2. As you can see, Nioh 2 has like a very sort of divine look to its menus. This one is a lot grittier and a lot bloodier, and I think I prefer it that way. Hold on, let me actually see. I'm using my fake profile for this because that's the only one that has the DLC on it. Basic game settings. Color rarity. No, okay. But we do have a sword here, which is very, very nice. We have a really big bastard sword now. And we can use this key to get into all these places. Let's see. You can use this key to get into all these kinds of places. As you see, normally, well, you can't actually see that, but I can. The overlays actually take up a lot of the screen here, but it doesn't matter. Same thing with the Nioh. Actually, I'll show you real quick. There we go. Right here, you have your items, and up there, you have your hit points. It's the same as in the Nioh 2, so don't worry about it. Same as in Nioh 2. It's just this one is a lot darker and a lot grittier, and I actually prefer its theme over the original. We got some boots, so we can equip armor. The original has a very almost whimsical kind of feel to it when it comes to its like grittiness, while the sequel has almost like a fairy tale-esque feeling to it, where it's not quite real. This one feels very like deadly and real and depressing and sad. There's some medicine. We can actually use it right there if we wanted to waste it. The controls are a little bit different. Inspect, use is square, not up. You'll see what I mean. It gets pretty crazy. You'll see. After this game, we'll be doing Rise of the Ronin, by the way. After this game, we will be playing Rise of the Ronin. So, well, technically not after this game. After we beat Nioh 2's DLC, we'll be playing Rise of the Ronin. Once we beat that, we'll be playing Rise of the Ronin. Still don't have any fans. similar to what you think it is. It's a dodge pattern, just like in the original Nioh. You got dodges for each of your stances. We don't actually, I forgot, you don't actually have the stances right now. You just have one stance. You have mid stance and that's it. So yeah, that's pretty much how it goes. You know the story by now. If you watch my original series, you know what's up. So let's get through this, shall we? 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoop, 1, 2. So there we go. Pants. Finally. We just have a different sort. He attacked me. Now he has a spear. Nope, we just got some medication from him. As you can see, the game remembers where you put your stuff. Still the same button to do it. You know the drill. What I wanted to do, instead of using the medication, I actually wanted to go into my inventory and inspect it. It's recover feature herbal mix with fine honey. This is a very certain medication you can only get in London. So there you go. The normal medication will make its return when we actually get to Japan. We're not in Japan right now, sadly. We are in London. In a prison. The Tower of London. Here we go. This is where we cover our heart for the Queen. I believe that's who we are praising. This is the shrine that restores our stuff. These shrines are actually very rudimentary and basically don't actually give you anything. They don't have a menu or anything for leveling. They just do that. So there you go. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. By the way, if you were wondering, yes, this is the only location in the entire game that is not in Japan. You actually come back to this location later, and it is the only one not in Japan. So, there you go. If you were wondering, that's the stuff. It is the only location that is not in Japan. So, also the taunt menu is a little bit different, but I'll get to that in a second. Let me open this chest up. Got a battle axe, which means we can change weapons. We have to hold. So L. Okay, this is another weird thing. In the original, instead of that activates your yokai powers and gives you your menu, the right trigger that I'm mashing right now, that just swaps your menus, and the R1 is what actually changes your weapons. It's got different controls because you don't have yokai shifting. This is a battle axe. And that is a runga. It's a very nice spear. Forget the button to inspect. There we go. A type of spear popular in Europe, a cross-hilted, given similar appearance to, I couldn't say the word, given similar appearance to the Japanese. The runka is a versatile weapon that can be used for thrusting, parrying, or sweeping. Indeed. And it is. And it is. So, you're going to see me struggle a little bit. Mostly because this game has a very finely pointed learning curve. A very finely pointed learning curve. The learning curve is very, very steep. And you'll see what I mean, but it is kind of insane. Learning curve in this game is basically instant, and you need to take effect with it immediately, or you're not going to understand and you're not going to succeed. The first boss is we can extract from this country. Huh? What is this?
The death of the leader of Japan will spark a war, and a wonder
wonderful opportunity to acquire more Amrita.
Once tomorrow's execution takes place, we will get our hands on a compass that will lead us to that Amrita.
With enough Amrita, we could subdue Spain, perhaps even the world.
The day when England reigns supreme is near.
But our beloved queen thinks of Amrita as nothing more than gold or gemstones.
We must find them before our nation's rivals do.
Edward Kelly, you will go to Japan. It seems it would be to our advantage to keep the wars alive. We cannot gain
Blood
Amrita
does not
if blood
flow.
does not flow. Hey! Who are you?
Can't believe I didn't hear that. Huh. I'd never heard that line before. So, okay. Let's go over what the hell's about to happen. Oh, nice. Got a plate mail. Gauntlets. Let's go over what's about to happen, shall we? So, this game is really weird. It has a very odd stylization to it. Not only that, it has a very cryptic way of telling you how to play. It tells you how to play, unlike, say, a Souls game. But the way it does it is very cryptic, very specific, and very odd. And it doesn't tell you the full story no matter what. You'll see what I mean later, but it is very... It's very much a stickler when it comes to telling you how to actually play its fucking game. But, lack of instructions aside, we're in the next part of the area. 1, 2, 3. Oh. Now this is actually the hard part coming up here, because you actually fight some pretty powerful enemies for this area. They're like level 3 enemies, basically. They're the 2 knights right in there, and I have to defeat them. 1, 2, 3 to get their loot. 1, 2, 3. There we go. This game is also pretty hard. If you don't know how to make a build, it'll beat your ass. It'll beat your ass. This game will defeat you if you do not know how to make a build properly. So there's these guys right here. There we go. We can kind of draw one of them away. Get the other one to follow right behind. And if we do that properly, we can kind of start leading them in a line. Where one of them is always behind the other. Like this. Like I said, these guys are pretty tough, so you might hear me go silent to concentrate. They're very slow, as you can also see. I don't know any man who could do a 4 frontal full fucking roll in a suit of plate mail armor. Or whatever. Just keep it calm, keep it moving. Basically, if one of them hits you, you're dead. But, as soon as one of them falls, the other one should fall real nicely. Whoop! See what I mean? Look how much damage I took just from that. Just from him swinging at me once, I took most of my hit points. No, you cannot level up. Not in this section. You have to get to Japan first. Whoop! He has slightly more reach than I do on that. Damn. Down twice. So, there's also, obviously, there's skill trees. Similar to this, to the other game, but this one has a bit of a difference in its skill trees. Final blow! There we go. The way this one does its skill trees is very different. You'll get to see when we actually get to Japan properly, but the way it does its skill trees is very, very different. Very particular. It does not like doing its skill trees in specific ways. You'll see what I mean, But it doesn't like doing its skill trees in very specific ways. It only likes doing them in a very linear sense. It's not like Nioh 2. This game is not Nioh 2, this is Nioh. They made a lot of improvements when shifting over to Nioh 2 that otherwise many people would consider disappointments. However, I consider them improvements. Great improvements, in fact. Now we gotta fight a dude with a massive ass axe. Using monsters to fight the war. Yes, they got no more use. These are our comrades. Split into... Yep. And then if we go up here and through here, ooh, yeah, those guys respawn. I mean, technically we can grind them for plate mail if we really wanted to, which I think I might do. So we have stones on us now, and stones are actually quite important. We can use them to distract. See? We can kind of get them in the right order if we need to. Whoa! Whoa. Yeah, they can do combos too. We can get them in the right order if we need to. We can just... There we go. That's the power of an axe. It gets good ass knockdown. Tank builds are actually somewhat viable in this game. Because in Nioh 2, they're not really viable. Tank builds are basically a joke. But in this game, on the other hand, they're actually pretty viable. They're pretty viable. You can actually tank pretty damn well. There we go. Gauntlets and great help. And gauntlets. There we go. Yeah, you can tank pretty well in this game. Now, it's not going to be the most effective strategy. The most effective strategy will pretty much always be using light equipment and light armor to just get around very, very quickly. As you can see, we're kind of slowing down now, so our dodges are kind of shorter and slower. However, for this part coming up, that's not actually too bad of a thing. We only got to really dodge with like one specific attack. And that's pretty much it. But as you can see, our dodges are much slower. We take a lot more stamina with them. It's a lot harder to move around, but in exchange for all of that, as you see, we take a lot less damage. There we go. Gotta swing on their counters. Yes, we could be final blowed and fatal blowed as well, if we are not careful. Ooh, that ended up bad for me. 1, 2, 3. Takes a lot more stamina when you're this heavy as well. But damn, you are resistant to everything that could come at you. I would be normally wielding this axe vertically in the heavy stance, but I don't have the heavy stance yet. There we go. Ooh, a knight in shining armor. As you can see, however, the trade-off of being super tanky is you are a tank. A heavy one at that. You are a very heavy tank that hurts people. And do, well, not exactly hurt yourself. So yeah, you can play a tank build in this game if you know what you're doing. I will not be playing a tank build, but for this area, this is actually pretty good. To escape from it. Okay. Good question. Also, on the Super Canonical series, after we beat all the Ninja Gaiden games, we will be playing through Tokaiden after that. Because Tokaiden is a very good game series, and I love it a lot. Ah, here's another knight. 2, 3. We back off. Now this sort of strategy doesn't work against bosses too well. But it does work against these guys pretty well. Also this does too. There! Okay. I was wondering if my stamina would come back by the time he got up. We're good. And then we can go up there to fight the boss. Let's go. Let's go. William, this way. Yes, of course. Let's go. She almost acts like his mother. Whoa! Executioner guy. Yeah, this guy. Dirk the Executioner. Really big guy. Executioners back in these times were usually really big guys. Does a lot of damage if he hits you. And he hurts a lot. As you can see, I can do damage to him by throwing at him. But even though colors for the health bars, as you can see, are different. When we kill him, and that's the first boss. Or was it? Because now we get a pure demonstration of the power of Emery. My model keeps fucking up. The power of Emery. Let's go. This is Edward Kelly. He was a real person. Well, he didn't look like that, but he was a real alchemist.
If I die, the secret of the stones dies with me.
Let me show
I'll
you
show you what these stones can do. Behold. And then he resurrects as a yokai. And execution. So now he is much more powerful, and he has a yokai realm connection. Focus your strength. One. Oh. He has a yokai realm connection, which means his stamina bar doesn't go down normally. It's a stagnant thing. 2, 3. Oh. As you can see, I'm pretty good at dodging in these games. I know what I'm doing. Oh. 1, 2, 3. Oh. Now his yokai realm connection is getting low. Which means, if we break him, we can activate our living weapon. Which will instantly end the cutscene, will instantly end the fight. Like that. You can kill him and defeat him, but you don't get anything.
Quite a feat.
And that is the end of the first step. Unfortunately, Ellie takes our guardian spirit.
This spirit shall guide me to the kingdom of gold.
All we're left with is her father. Ooh. And he's dead. He hesitated for too long. So, let me explain. all guardian spirits in this world give people a ability. Hardiness, maybe the ability to heal. Death is attribute to life. How the hell does he swim in that armor? I don't know. But the ability to heal. Some of them allow you to project fire. William's in particular makes him completely immortal. You will notice this because William is very old by the end of the game. He's actually somewhere in his 70s near the end of the game series. And he is still alive even in the 1800s. He's eternally alive. He can die repeatedly forever, and he will always live. For he is reborn constantly, but in the same form.
During 2 years' voyage, the Helloff was lost. The trow sank, while the hope vanished without a trace. The good news of the Blythe Boatshap was nothing but lies. Only Leifta remained. An ironic twist.
Ironic twist.
For what awaited us in the Far East wasn't love. It was monsters and death.
It was monsters and death. Indeed. So, yes, William can die eternally, and he will never be killed. Before I begin my perversion landfall. Yes. I'm on the ship with another. Basically, we choose our main weapons here. We choose the sword, the dual swords, the spear, the axe, the Kasaragawa, the Odachi, or the Tonfa. These are the ones we can pick. We can pick two, by the way. I will be picking the primary sword, the standard sword for the +1 heart. Called Dojo, yes. +1 heart, and I will be picking the Odachi for the damage. Yes, focus your ki and everything. This is just telling us the basics of the war. 8 million details. Now we get to pick our Guardian Spirit. It doesn't matter too much, like there's no shifting or bursting or anything, it's just the buffs that you want. I almost always go with the Wolf, simply because it gives you a +1 strength, which is our primary stat with our Odachi. Indeed, let's go. No, we don't need a tutorial. I've played through this game dozens of times. Let's go. So, the things we're going to see is the game will actually give us the weapons that we have slowly over time. You'll see what kind of build I'm going for eventually, but don't worry about it. You'll understand. But moving forwards, we can grab this right here. This will give us our first weapon. We also have this. God, seeing this menu again brings back memories. This is the skill tree. As you can see, it's not a web, it's a literal tree. Interesting, huh? Well, let's begin. We can play the movie. Yes, the movies have to be independently played. We'll be getting this one. We can start doing that at the end of a combo, but we'll just use that one for now. We'll also get this. And this. Now, coming to this shrine, we get into our first primary menu, where we can see everything. Remember how I said this game is very bloody and gritty? We can also check for the DLCs, which I have all of them, so there you go. Get the golden armor. We have one weapon. It is our sword. We have to use it to fight through it. However, because I have the DLC... There we go. There. I have this golden armor, which actually kind of sucks. It looks cool, but it's really bad. Mostly because... it's so goddamn heavy because it's made of gold. That's the joke. So it's pretty bad. It sucks pretty hard. However, at the very least, we get into our first combat with a Japanese person. There will be many of these. We don't have any abilities. We do have our stances now, however, which is very nice. As you can clearly see. But that's all we got. That's how we live. This is how we live. So, let's do this. Going up here to the house, we can see 2 more enemies. We can now Kai Pulse as well, just like we did before. And we have our full combos. We have our heavy string. Our heavy string on the up stance. We have our finishing tool now. That's how we live. This is how we live. And as we go through this level, you will find that things will be a little bit intense. This game has a learning curve called the first boss, and the first boss is so difficult that some people bought the game and immediately quit because they couldn't get through the first boss. But if you know what you're doing, he's comically easy. So hard at the beginning, but so easy by the end that he is used as basically a basic enemy later. Here's our second one. The Odachi. You're going to be using this one. It has pretty good fast stance to it. It works pretty well, so we're going to be using the Odachi. Oh, also there's this. Graves. There's a particular grave on this level I will be showing you all that I think you might like a whole hell of a lot if you were into this game's production cycle. Actually, this game was very big when it first came out because of Dark Souls 3. Just before this game came out, Dark Souls 3 had been delayed for about 3 or 6 months. Right? The game had been delayed for about 3 or 6 months. Go. It had been delayed for about, I believe it was 6 months. Whoop! Was awkward. I thought he was going to do his stab. They usually do. But no, he didn't. He didn't do his stab at all. He did his 2 thrusts. 2 quick thrusts he does. I forget he can do that. So, yes. When this game came out, Dark Souls 3 had been delayed by a couple of months. And this game, Team Ninja came out with this game, and this game was quite celebrated because they said it was like, well, it's like Japanese Dark Souls. If you're waiting for Dark Souls 3 and you can't wait any longer, then you can play Nioh and get a similar experience, a new Dark Souls game. And that's why this game gained so much popularity that it actually got a sequel. And that's the story. That is the full story. Which is pretty cool. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. We got a samurai point, which means something very different. There aren't skill trees. There aren't samurai skill trees in this one. Samurai points are just the points we use here. And these are the ninja and Omyo points. Yep. That's breaker. The big annoyance in this game was the fact that you do have to play each of these videos for this. Yeah. Which one is it? So that symbol there. So the symbols on the right side of the screen right there, those actually depict what stances these can be used in. So this is high, this is medium and low. That sort of thing. Got very similar abilities, although it is a little bit weaker in this game than the original Nioh. Yeah, you'll notice it is a little bit weaker. The dual swords are actually a little bit stronger. They actually have more to offer. Whatever, we'll continue using the Odachi for now for its damage. Hello, sir. 2, 3. I might just go with the standard sword. And then complement it with a, maybe an Omio Mage build. That sounds pretty good. An Omio Mage build. 2, 3. There we go. Ow. 1, 2, 3. There's our first ranged weapon. A longbow. No, there's no short bows or anything. It's just a longbow. It's exactly how it works in Nioh 2. Same sweep spots, same abilities. Slightly a few differences in how it works with ninjutsu, but that's about it. And here's our first standard yokai. These guys are actually not too good to fight with this. You want to fight them with the sword in the low stance because they can avoid a lot of your attacks. They still have their grab attacks in the but they're very irritating. You'll see what I mean. As you can see, there's no switchblade in this game or anything, so you're high and dry. You're kind of left out in the open. We can force him to roll into that wall. We can force him to go through here, slap him once, and kill him. Trying to get him into a good spot like that. Now through here, we can then, well, you'll see. We can throw down this ladder right here. Also, there's the Komodo. These guys aren't as useful in this game. In the second game, they're actually incredibly useful, and they're basically required to get through certain areas, so you can actually have enough Amrita to level up. But in this game, they're not actually too useful. They're less useful. Here's another one. I will say, in this game, there is actually PvP combat online. I mean, no one plays this game online anymore. There was. I remember playing a couple matches. So if anyone wants to go a few rounds with me online once I get this character set up, I'd love to do it. But yeah, that's kind of about it, really. That's the basics of the game. As we get more and more in depth, you'll see me kind of do more and more with this game. It can get pretty intense in some places, and the game really likes its storytelling. You'll see. You'll see. Here's the next shrine. Most people don't find this one. It's so out of the way. And then we can level up. See how much grittier the menus are? I love it. Alright, you know the story. Part all the way. More key means more fun to play. Unfortunately. There we go. That should be good. More key means more fun times to play with. The more strikes we can do, and the more we can expend our resources. Yes, William can outright block arrows. That's just an ability he has. It also means our primary weapon, which will, I'm thinking it'll probably be our sword. Does more damage. It's a very basic build I'm going with, but since I don't know if anyone's ever been experienced in this game before, watching this, I want to go with a pretty basic build so they understand what's up. We'll get into the spectacular stuff later with Onmyo magic and such. In fact, I usually find myself doing a mix of ninjutsu and Onmyo magic half the time anyways. I never found myself actually focusing on one or the other. Here's this deadly-ass cliffside, where you'll fight these guys. The samurai. 2, 3, 4. These guys are similar to the knights in England, although they can swap their stances. 2, 3. We stab him. I'm pretty sure he's dead. No, he's not dead. He's just gonna run around and try to attack me. Hey, you found something. Just burn to do a heavy attack against this, but it's a little bit too slow. That's why I like the primary sword. It's pretty good. Might do a 1 sword, 2 sword mix. That might be good. 2, 3, and there's a guy to my left. Whoop. Ooh, really hurts. Now we can kind of cull the herd here by going indirectly. I was not fast enough in between his 2 attacks. I tried to get out of his little loop in between 2 of his attacks, but I was not quite fast enough to get out of there. 2, 3. Whoop. 2, 3. Still don't have that kind of stamina. As you can see, I'm being a very forthcoming and aggressive with my attacks because I'm used to having a shitload of stamina. But I don't have a shitload of stamina. So unfortunately, we gotta be very passive. Which is boring. I want bloodshed and murder, not being passive. But we can stick an arrow right in this guy's face if we want to prove a point. Or can we? Some people will survive arrows. If they have a helmet on, that means they can survive an arrow to the face. No! I'm so overly and confidently aggressive because every time I play this game, the first stat I always max out is stamina. It's the most important stat by far. We lost a good bit of money there, but it really doesn't matter. It's the first mission. This isn't even the mission you want to start grinding on. Although I could probably use some of my points. So samurai points work a little bit differently in this. They're your individual skill points for your weapons. There's no like samurai skill tree in this one. Huh? Oh, that has fire on it. William actually has a bit of an issue. He has, I believe, there's no like corruption or anything, by the way. I mean, technically there is, but we'll get into that way later on in the game. But William has a bit of an issue where he actually has like, I believe he has like a tiny bit of fire vulnerability. I believe all humanoids have a tiny bit of fire vulnerability. You'll actually see me take more fire damage than most yokai will from the same attacks. He has like a little bit of fire damage vulnerability that kind of makes it a little bit awkward to play around fire, but not really. It's not actually enough damage to matter. It's not really. It's like 5% or something stupid. You'll just see humans take a lot more damage from them. Here's our first accessory. Accessories work the exact same. Although I believe there are a couple differences when forging accessories. Eyeballs. EA. Gather power. Sheath. Here we are. There's no like follow-up to it, by the way, in this game. There's that. Drains our living weapon gauge. That's our primary dodge. There's Swallow Swing. That is actually kind of one we want. As you can see, some of these take up more than one skill point, unlike in the original. Well, I say the original, unlike in the prequel. There's that, and then that will lead us to this, which is one of the things we desperately want. We cannot get that right now. But we do want that. And this, because we can get both of them. There we go. Down here are the mastery skills we'll get into later. Way later. There we go. We have our dodge at the end of our combo, just like normal. That is activated during living weapon, which is basically this game's yokai shift. You'll see what I mean in a bit. We also have this, which is an Omni one. So, we've got some new toys here. We have Kai Sword, and we have Haze now. That's how this game is. That's how we kind of improve with this game. You'll see me go through a lot to improve with this. You'll see me go through a lot. This game is very, 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 very frustrating. It's also a stickler when it comes to its parries, as you can see right here. Now, technically, we don't need that, but the skill that we want our parries for, you can't actually fucking do right now. So, yeah, you'll see me use that instead. We want back wave, specifically. We want back wave in particular, thanks to what it can do, because it's basically a one-shot kill. We know what we're doing with it. Here we go. I don't think we actually have backstab yet. No, we do not. So it's actually better for us to back up and shoot him in the head. And shoot him in the head, too. Shoot him in the head twice. There we go. And then we kill him. Easy as that. That other guy will get attracted to us. And we'll just do that. High sword him. And then put him to the ground. Now put him into the ground. And that's kind of the story. That's the kind of how this first mission always plays out. However, we're getting into a very important part of the game. You see, while Hideyoshi sleeps and the world fades away, we're left with remnants of this desolate country. And in this desolate country, there is that. Our first missed yokais. What is this? And this is our first Oni we have to fight. 1, 2. As you can see, he is very different. 1, 2, 3. In this game, if you break a yokai's horn, say, "Ah!" misjudged his attack. If you break a yokai's horn in this game, they will pretty much instantly lose all of their kai. They'll instantly lose all of it, and they'll fall to the ground. Unlike in the last game. I love both games. I can't tell you which one I actually prefer over the other. Oh. He missed me. I can't tell you which one I actually prefer over the other. I actually like both of them enough to where I don't compare them. They're good. Both of them are very excellent games that other games should inspire to be. Not only that, they have plenty of DLCs and expansive content if you want to support the developers even more during your playtime of Nioh. So yeah, in case you wanted to play Nioh a lot, there's even DLC for you. Oh! Hey, that didn't kill me. I'm surprised. That attack usually always gets me early game. 2, 3, 4. Whoop! 1. There we go. I've gotten enough. Need to kill more of those bastards. Must have been a citizen. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3, 4. And then we can just kill him. Just like that. And that's how we live. The door is fucking locked. So of course it is. Forgot about this. Alright, let's go. Here's the village. And there's the ship we have to get on. Alright, let's go over this. Going around here, we can get to the next shrine. This is when the game really opens up and actually gets somewhat difficult. Well, by the way, this game is actually a good bit longer than the second Nioh. It's actually a pretty good bit longer than the second Nioh. The scaling with weapons also works a little bit differently. I'll get into that when we actually get to the blacksmith in a couple missions. You'll see what I mean. We want to dive behind this house and go to the left. So if this guy doesn't ambush us. There we go. Going up here, we can go right back into where we came from, and now we can dive onto this rooftop over here and get this Komoda. Or no, I say Kodama. I say Komoda, it's actually Kodama. Not children, although they act like them. I really wish we had backstab. Backstab is one of the things from the Shinobi skill tree. Whoop. I just did that a little bit too late. So, I did that so late, in fact, that William was actually open during that attack cycle. Which means I barely did that wrong. So this is a square of death. Right behind me is a massive square where a shitload of enemies are. Whoop! There we go. Good use for Kai Sword for lowering your enemy's health. And Kai both. There we go. There's no yokai weapons or anything in this game in particular. There's nothing like that. It's just good old-fashioned swords. Now there are blessed weapons, but those will only come in once you complete the final chapter of the game. Literally, the game is programmed to where the only way you can get a blessed weapon in the game is by completing the final chapter in Japan. Oh, enemies will not drop them beforehand. So you're kind of out of luck. I believe they will on certain very high-level Twilight missions. But that's kinda it. That is kind of it. 1, 2, 3. Feels so good every time. Open up the chest. Grab all the stuff. So, here's another yokai. There's no yokai realms. Well, there are portals, but there's no, like... There's no dark realm mists or... You'll see what I mean. There's no, like, area in the, prequel. Is it a prequel? It's technically both a prequel and a sequel. I wonder how many games are like that. Because it's technically not a sequel, but it's not a prequel either. It takes place after both. Kind of weird. But, the semantics of the previous game aside, there's no Dark Realms. So we only have to worry about the yokai portals. Also, because William's mother is not a yokai, we don't have a shift. So... yeah, we're kind of fucked. Although, we may not have demonic yokai powers, We do have something much better. Racism. No. We don't have racism. Unfortunately, we can't be racist against yokai. They're not a race. They're a species. What we do have much better is living weapon. It actually, in my opinion, is much better than shifting to a certain extent. We can actually get through this if you're fast enough and you have enough health. Barely, but we did. Another tick would have killed us. There's another one. I believe they're... No, the flame monks don't appear in this mission. It's the next mission they appear in. But as you can see, we're breezing through this pretty well. This game is a very good game if you know what you're doing with it. Although I promise you, this is only just the beginning. Pretty soon, you'll see this game bears teeth. It has teeth and it is armed. It's a very violent game that will fucking test you. See just how poorly you do. There is actually a mission in this game. I'm not proud of this, but there is. There is a mission in this game which I have never actually been able to beat. There is a certain mission near the very end of the game, the last area outside of the DLCs, that I've never been able to beat because of how difficult it can be. I've never played the game to, like, New Game Plus or anything. By the way, the kitty cats are not here either. They don't exist. Well, they do exist lore-wise, but he doesn't see them. He's not a yokai. But, yeah, unfortunately, it's just kind of how the lore is. No kitty cats for us. Oh, I thought he would rush me. I hear something outside my door, and I think I know what it is. Give me a second. Give me 1 second. Sorry, my kitty cat needed me. He was losing his mind a little bit outside. And there we go. Unlike in the prequel game, that technique does not stop us from getting a shot on their back. Well, it stops us from getting a shot on their back. Sorry, it won't count as a backstab. You can kind of take everybody out around here with a bow and arrow, as you can see, including this guy, who just tried to attack a lamp. What is the route he's taking? What is the route? Why did he curve like that? Did the AI try to avoid your attacks? I mean, I fucking doubt it. But maybe they do. Maybe they try to avoid your attacks. I don't know. But that's not important. What is important is this amazing man right around here. We go through here and go into this super secret cave. We can find a couple items. First one being the sword we can commit seppuku with. That's literally its purpose, by the way. Its purpose is to do that. Its purpose is to kill us. Ritual unaliving of a famous general. Yep. And then there's this guy. This guy, you may recognize that name. He's the developer of the game. He's the person who made the game. He's the one of the head researchers. He's the head developer of the game. He's the big man in charge. And he is really fast. He actually has, like, high-level stuff for this area as well. I mean, he's not powerful, though. We literally just killed him. Oh, no, we didn't. Now we killed him. Or not. But he actually has, like, somewhat high-level stuff for this area. He has stuff from the first dojo mission. And then we get unusual armor. The unusual armor is this. Right here. Which actually looks really good. I like the unusual armor. Heavy breastplate armor. Shot cords and dried red with made flour. Looks William well. Yeah, it'll talk in third person occasionally, you'll notice that. But right now that's not important. What is important is now we fight the boss of the area. Oh, yeah, there's just one more thing. It's supposed to be an easy job for easy money. Oh, hold on, my kitty cat needs me again. Hello, sir, I'm going to have to kill you. Give me a sec. We also have to open the door up here. My kitty cat needs my assistance. Hold on. Whoop. Boop. There we go. Alright, let's get back to it. The cat needed my assistance. I locked him out of my room and he was not happy with that. So let's level up first off. This boss is very difficult for the area, as you will come to find. It is very difficult for this particular area. We can just run past all these guys. If you're wondering what that sword does, that gets into the clan mechanics later on, which I will explain when we get to them. So those are a good bit away. Let's do this. Torture. Okay, we're torturing people. And where there was torture. There was this. That's not how fire works. It's not that fast. But it is that deadly. Here's the first boss. I'll give you a secret. Just stick to his back. You just stay behind him. And just master the moves that swing behind him, like that one. There's not a whole lot he can actually do. I mean, you'll get hit occasionally, but that's about it. He does damage, but once you actually break the chains on him, You'll see what I mean. He can spam. That's a hitbox! I never knew that was an actual hitbox on that other side. That's why I tried to keep to as far to his right as possible when he did that. I did not know that other ball has a hitbox to it. I thought that you would just go straight through that. I never thought that that could actually hit you. I learned something new. I never thought that would actually hit you. We need to break his chains as fast as possible. You'll understand why when I do. So just get behind him and dodge backwards when he does this. Yeah, that's an actual hitbox. Huh. 2, dodge, 1. Oh. He has to go through that recovery animation no matter what. Yeah, that's an actual hitbox. That can actually hit you when that ball comes down. Huh. If you hold your block like that, you can force him to break your guard instead of hitting you. There we go. Now we're in this. Once you break his chains, he's a lot more vulnerable, except when he does that specific attack. That attack is your main enemy. That's the only attack in the entire game that's going to make you wish you didn't have. Whoop, whoop. That's a grab, by the way. It does not look like it, but it is. It spins you like a crocodile. Whoop. So, he will also pick up these balls, dodge right or left, it doesn't matter too much. Whoop! Dodge right or left, doesn't matter too much. Another grab there. Whoop! That attack is the only one you gotta worry about. Once you master that, like a spinning attack he can do, you're pretty much good no matter what, right? You're pretty much good no matter what. Unless, the only exception being, he has an attack he rarely does where he will... Whoop, there it is right there. That actually has turn to it. That can turn a little bit. If you're standing to his right like this, he'll actually catch you with it. However, we'll just put him down. This is Living Weapon. It's just a super powerful mode with your standard attacks. You can go into different stances with it. Technically. It'll always be in the circle stance, but when I started, I can be in any stance and it will always return to center. So you can use it in different stances. If you catch my drift. And that's the first mission. That's it. That is the first mission of this game. Before we get into like the open world map. So let's go into this, shall we?
Who are you?
A foreigner? Your skill against Oni is impressive.
He speaks English, of course he will.
English.
He's a ninja. You want someone like that.
My name is Hanzo Hattori. And you are?
Call me William. Come here in pursuit of someone.
An enemy perhaps? Hunting a person down in a strange land will not be easy. If you lend me your strength in fighting Oni, I will help you in return.
Indeed.
Well then.
And he does this weird thing. I don't understand why he does that. He checks the time. You can look at a cat's eyes to check the time of day if they're outside. But I don't know why he has to do it like that. It's so fucking weird, man. Alright. There we go. Oh. Let me do this. And it gives us the map. Zoom. There it is.
天下人であった太閤秀吉様が亡くなり、この国では今、
Blocked his struggle to succeed him.
一人は秀吉様を継いだ石田三成と、もう一人は我が主君
How do you
徳川家康様。わしは
indeed
家康様から西国大名たちの調略を任され、
Western
この九州
Nioh
へ参った。
campaign? There we go.
近頃巷には地味猛量が出没し、大名た
Monsters.
ちは手を焼いておる。
Spark.
鬼を切るその腕を売り込めば
Skilled blade.
調略の好機となろう。
Be a great help.
案ずるな。あやかし騒ぎを追えばお主の仇も現れよう。まずは家康様に近しい隣国豊前の
But your
官兵衛殿
lord
のもとに参る。
Nioh. There we go. Alright. But so much for that foreign merchant I've been tracking. Yeah, we could have actually found him in the level, but I forgot about that. He's in one of the houses near the ship. Alright, that'll be the end of the stream, everybody. Thank you all so much for coming. I gotta go now. That is the start of the original Nioh. Once we complete all of this game, we're going to go back to Nioh 2, do that, and then once we beat all of Nioh 2's DLCs, we're going to start Rise of the Ronin. Once we beat Rise of the Ronin, then we go into Ninja Gaiden. Once we're done with all the Ninja Gaiden games, then there's a few other games we gotta do. Thank you everyone so much for coming, and I will see you